Yes, good afternoon, Bert. Let me say as well a hearty good afternoon to all of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, especially the people from the most beautiful constituency on mainland St. Vincent. I speak of no other persons but those who reside between Belial and Windsor Forest, talking about the people of North Leeward, from Gordon Yard, Spring Village, Charles Village, Coles Hill, Rose Hall, Chumuka, Rosebank, Pettibodel, Shattibele, which includes Sharps, Fitzhugh, Plan, and all those other villages. But I want to wish the people of this constituency and all of SVG and those in the diaspora a happy 2019. I say happy 2019 because I know that you're not happy, but I hope that this year will bring you a reason to be happy. I know from my experiences that things are rough, things are tough, and our people deserve a better life, a better living standard. A living standard that has eluded them for quite a long time, where they have to go back to firewood according to the famous Calypso. It is interesting about this morning listening to you, and you were given some advantages of the CBI program, a program that is being championed by the Democratic Party. Another party we have seen where the Citizens by Investment program has benefited a lot of our neighbors, and they are some of those countries who we had more resources than in terms of land and people, who we have more in terms of agriculture, in terms of the resources of the sea, but they are doing far better than us simply because they would have adopted a program to help out the country, as you may call it. But I have been doing some research myself on the CBI program, and while it might carry a different name, this program in a lot of countries all over the world, England, America, Australia, all these have investment programs where persons come into the country and they would invest in the program that the country is offering. So the Citizen by Investment program is not an illegal program. It's not an immoral program. It is not something that you have to be looking over your shoulder about. It's a legal means by which people are given citizenship or residency in some cases to your country because they would have made a substantial investment. We are small and developing countries, and our resources are very limited, and as a result, we have to look outside of the mainstream of things, as we have to think outside of the box in order to get resources to develop our country. I heard you mention as well, but in your discussion this morning, you were making the point, yes, there are programs that are not perfect, but individual countries fashion programs to suit themselves. You do your checks and balances, and even though you do that, there are some people, because the criminals are always a step ahead, and there are many countries have to make adjustment, but nothing is wrong with that as well, because that's what you do, and that's what life challenges is about. True. You're doing something and there's a loophole, you adjust to suit. And when you make legislations, they're not cast in stones, so you could always go back. And I recall in the recent parliament when the Prime Minister come like a cry baby and referring to the ODD as being bullying the small islands. But yet he failed to realize that when the Democratic Party was in office and they had to make certain adjustment because they were blacklisted, he behaved as if that is something that should not have happened, and now the NDP this and the NDP that. But now he had the same experiences. He's referring to the ODD and the countries that have basically tighten their hold on things as being bullies. But as I said, so as a result, now we have to change our legislation to accommodate what they want, and as a result, we might very well lose a lot of the offshore business that we have now. And hence the reason why I remember Major Leakak in the debate was driving and making the example that you're talking about these business companies, and he likened it to the CBI program, where you want to be hypocritical about the CBI, right, And the business companies program that we offshore sector is a similar program like the CBI, but yet you want to call one hypocritical and you want to say what is better for the country. So, my brother, we in the Democratic Party, we have supported the initiative and the idea of implementing a citizens by investment program because we have seen the benefits of it. You look at it this way. Here we are, Bert, and people always make this reference. The majority of Vincentians are living out of St. Vincent. Let me repeat that.
True.
The majority of Vincentians are living out of St. Vincent. Some of these Vincentians are out there because things are hard at home, and others are offspring of Vincentian. So if things were good in this country, the migration rate, for example, in St. Vincent, a small country, would not have been so high. But because things are so bad in this country, to make ends meet, a lot of our young people, they have to leave these shores to seek greener paths in a next man country.
Major say you take the bed and make both.
Yeah, they take the bed and make both according to Major. But if we now, on the other hand, have an attractive CBI program that will encourage our people to make a living here in St. Vincent, they could contribute significantly to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We could be attracting the best in everything. Look, one of the major problems that we're having in this country are the technical people, engineers, doctors. And at the same time we're talking about that, a lot of Vincentians are engineers, doctors, and other professionals in neighboring islands and in North America. But if we had a program like the CBI, for example, that would provide us with the cash flow, so to speak, we could keep a lot of our people in this country and the country would benefit tremendously from the training experience of our own people. But we don't have that. We have an economy that is struggling. We have healthcare that needs a boost. We have agriculture limping along. We have tourism could do better. You know, we have manufacturing almost at a dead end. Construction fledgling along. You know, and with the CBI program, Bert, all of these things can be given a boost. And hence the reason why the New Democratic Party, in its own vision, after looking at a lot of stuff, a lot of things that we could do, one of the ideas among plenty that we have is the Citizens by Investment program that we believe will do well for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But
I wanted to repeat, sorry, the last point to me, because sometimes they take the misconception to say, oh, that is the only thing. You say one of many.
One of many programs. That's what I'm saying. That's why I put it that way. One of many program or initiative. And the New Democratic Party is a Citizens by Investment program. We have seen this in operation in countries right around us and how they have benefited tremendously. A big slap in the face, but was the recent in St. Kitts, for example, where government workers receive 13th salary, 13-month salary in December, and persons who making under a certain amount were given an additional $500. Now, this I sure was given a big boost to the economy because people have more money at their disposal, and therefore they will then have more money to spend. The businesses will get more money, and every sector of the government of the country, so to speak, will benefit. In St. Vincent, what did we get? We wait until the last week of Christmas. Christmas was, I think, on a Tuesday, and the Friday before that, we pay road workers. That was our big boost for Christmas. You can imagine that? A big boost for Christmas. We give the road workers, the road gang workers, a little $200, and we think that is stimulating in terms of the economy. And here are ideas, not only ideas out of the bag like a magician, but ideas that have been tested right within our region by our neighbors, our CARICOM neighbors, our OECS brothers and sisters have benefited tremendously. But in St. Vincent, at the government of the day, board, have decided, you know what, let us pressure Vincent some more. Let us make them beg us. Let us make them come to us for every meal. So we are not going to introduce any program that the country can benefit, that everybody in the country can benefit. They don't want to do that, because if they do that, persons will become independent. Persons will begin to make their own money, and government will not be able politicians, so to speak, will not be able to dictate that when you must eat, or dictate when you get a job, or who you get the job with, because that will be out of their hand. People will be making their own decisions based on what their pocket can bear. You know, and we have to be different. But this morning I was coming up with a young man from North Leeward, and we were talking generally. And in the discussion, we were talking about the potential that St. Vincent and Grenadines has that we're not realizing. And when he started to talk about, for example, what could happen in the communities, and I remember I started to explain to him now the NDP's position with the Constituency Development Fund. Mm-hmm. Here you have a program board that will be able to take care of a lot of stuff in our communities, and it would, especially unemployment. But in order for us to have a program of that nature, it must be funded from somewhere. Okay? It is something that we need now to start off with, because our local economies, like for instance, that the economy like in North Leeward, in North Windward, nothing is happening. You know, people are just barely getting by. But there are a lot of works to be done in those areas. There are works such as infrastructure, river cleaning, you know, road cleaning. A lot of stuff. We could have, like, say, a handicraft. We could create little cottage industries geared toward tourism. But how can we do that? No, we can't do it now because we have no money. But if we have a program providing the funding, like the Citizens by Investment program, to do something like that, to be there as a means by which we could fund these initiatives, then within our communities, our local, rural communities, you could have something started. You could have activities taking place here and there. As a result, everyone will not have to be trekking into Kingston looking for a job and overcrowding the city. We need to be able to stop the begging bowl approach that we seem to have for governance, where we feel we could go and beg every time we need something. We have to go and beg here and beg there. We need to be able to devise ways and means, my brother, of how to get things started. We're talking about fisheries, but one of the big initiatives we have is one fisheries. We know that fisheries is a $1 billion industry. Our neighbors look Grenada, and we are always talking about Grenada as a fine example, because you have people from St. Vincent and people from Grenada who are capitalizing on this program, where they have put the resources into the fishing industry, and millions of dollars are to be made from that. Grenada make $50 million last year out of fishing. How many things did we make? Well, we basically use the same water. But the thing is, they have the resources to do it. They put their resources into that sector, and it is reaping dividends for them. Similarly, what happened to us? We're bragging about international airport, yes, but it is not being utilized, because if we have a proper fishing industry, one that is well organized and regulated, we could have our fisher folks catering to use the airport to send their fish to all parts of the world, where we know that fish from the Caribbean is in demand because of the non-toxicity of the seawater. When you really get a fish, you have to fry it if it has certain chemicals inside it, because it is safe. You don't have to catch and throw it back. Or like what we do in terms, some people do that for fun because the fish, they can't eat it. You know? And these are so many things that we can do. We have our local communities. I was using an example. Every time a tourist ship comes into Kingston Port, you know what happens? They drive to North Leeward, the tourists drive in an air-conditioned bus, take a picture, they might stop few places, take a picture and drive to Chatwille and back up. Nothing else after that. Nothing to do on the way down and up. We have in North Leeward, for example, we have Rosebank and Rose Hall. I would consider them North Leeward traditional culture villages. Rosebank have the boom jam and the steel pan. We also have the Corville giants and the booms and whatnot. In Rosebank, you have people who are making small boat. You have a building industry, other things that are being done in Rosebank. Nothing wrong with talking to the agent for these tourists, and they could stop at a point. This is what we have to offer at a local level. And I am very sure if we do that, some things will spin off into a monetary gain for somebody with a small business, a small cottage industry, who could benefit directly from that. We have...
that take place in Jamaica and Barbados.
All over the world.
I don't know.
I don't know. We're just driving on tour. We're just driving on people here. That is why a lot of them, they just walk wrong tongue because there's nothing for them to do. you know, you need to, when the people come off the story ship, you need to show them a portion of simplicity what life is like, not a drive out, you know. And I have always talked about this, but that there are so much that we could do to make life easier for us. But you know why, as I said before, the reason why these things are not done, you know, not because they don't know, you know, it's because they do not want to give people their independence. They want people to be so dependent. At every beck and call should be determined by the government, by the politician. We need to get people out of that and get people to realize their own potential and let people decide for themselves what they want. And we as a government should just be facilitating that. But we are not doing it. We want to control. It's a different matter. You know, in my constituency, but before I gave my good friend the microphone, I have been on the radio for the past 5 years, a little over 5 years, begging the government to do something about the road in coal sales. Since the road was damaged in 2013, that night when they had the Christmas Eve flood, he had 4 people died at the same spot. The first one, a vehicle went over. When about 3 persons inside, 1 died. On the second occasion, a vehicle went over again with 5 persons in the car, 2 died. 3 died, sorry. We get the total to 4. Now, as I said, the accidents took place after the road was, the top of the wall was basically broken off from a landslide that came from above. I posed the question to the government, to the Minister of Transport on many occasions about the possibility of having the wall repaired, fixed, replaced, whatever term they want to use. I was given answers to the effect that 1, the road cannot be fixed. 2, it has to be relocated and realigned. There are consultants working on it so that they have not get report from the consultant, all kind of stories. I suggested, I say, but you know, looking at the wall, what needs to be done as a short-term measure, but safe measure, is to just rebuild the wall, like how it was, because you could just put back on the top. Mm-hmm. No one can work. You know what happened? But right now, as I speak to you now, it took Braxa, I'm not lying, you know, less than a month. You hear me? To put back the road like how it was before.
Put back on the wall.
All it was rebuild the wall.
I heard you ask the question, and I got the impression from the Minister of Works that it was a very technical work
and expensive
exposed from maybe Africa now, and Asia.
It will be interesting because one of the questions I have to ask the ex-parliament is this. Let them tell us if they are going to do anything else to that road. Because about the road, it is 100% now safer than hitherto, than it was before, right? Well constructed local tradesmen do it right from North Leeward. They didn't have to bring any expert from anywhere. Okay. The local men in North Leeward, the supervisor from Braxa from North Leeward, the workers from Leeward working in Braxa, they did a fantastic job. Based on what was there before and based on all the technical things that the minister brought up. I was shocked that they use local people to do that. But my point is this, right? Here's what I'm upset about now. It took the government 5 years to do something that was done in 3 weeks. Okay? And during that 5 years, we had 4 people dead. 4 people died as a result of this government neglect. The ULP government. Because of its neglect for the people of North Leeward. Because of its, I would say, contempt. Because they always treat North Leeward people in a particular way. 4 people are dead. Because you fail to give your own in-house Braxa team a 3 weeks job to fix the wall. You gave it all kind of excuses as to why you couldn't fix the wall. You gave the impression that you have to realign and it's going to cost millions to do because you said it was too expensive when I give suggestion. Just before December, it took Braxa about 3 weeks to do a complete job. Putting back the wall like how it was, and in my opinion, it's a bit safer than how it was before.
I don't want to say that I get the impression that, let me put it this way. And I repeat, I've heard you ask the question more than once.
More
and
than
I
once.
Got the impression that this work was some technical work that involved experts from maybe NASA.
Yeah, and we have to be some one.
Are you saying that in 3 weeks, ordinary skilled
local
trade
mason? You are a mason, two masons, and two guys at the mixer. The mixing board, as we say, the mortar board. Two guys running up the stone and the stone wall and so on, and one carrying blocks to them, blocks and stone to them. And that is what the value of 4 lives. And I believe it didn't cost this government $50,000. I am confident.
And you said the constitutional development fund, you wouldn't have to wait 5 years. You could have
exactly. That could have been tackled. That is the point I'm making. That's why I bring that in. To show how, with the New Democratic Party in office and a constituency development fund program fully operationalized, something like that would have been able to tackle within a matter of days. And therefore, lives today would have been saved. Because, you know, the vehicles went over because there was nothing to stop them. Retaining walls are built for 2 reasons: to prevent the bank from falling away, and you put maybe 1.5 to 2 feet above the wall, because if something hit it, it will stop. It has to be something very massive. A car for sure would stop. And in this case, the car and the small little taxi that went over there, they would not have gone over. The wall would have stopped them. And an example of that, you know, couple, I think it was last year, the school bus from north, it was coming up that hill with over 30 students on board. And if it wasn't for another part of the wall that was intact, the school bus would have went over. And I said before, if that had happened, it would have been rat gutter. You know, look puny to that. If that wall didn't stop the school bus. So you see the importance of a retaining wall. We have had a government in place who care nothing about people's livelihood and their life. I keep on asking, I begging. And you know what was so shame about it? When I ask and I beg in the parliament, I remember the minister said, I look nature here to back me up. Minister said, I always make Leeward look bad. When I expose the wrong things that they need to have this wall fixed.
And the other guy was siding with them.
Yes, he didn't say anything. The other guy who live in West St. Georgia want to vote in and register to vote in Leeward. He in the parliament and they not even support me in anything I say when I call him for the wall. But as soon as he walk from Braxton start, I'm opposed to take out pictures. Wicked. You know? Seeking, as somebody says, is a you know, them people who we call them names opportunists. Opportunists, they're posting up and writing up things about the ULP doing great things in North Leeward. For 5 years,
after that,
with 4 deaths, they did nothing. And today, the wall has been repaired using a local team, local supervisor and workers fix the wall, and it is a much safer. It's not perfect, but compared to what was there, I say thank you and to the bearing. But on another note, I was doing some research about where in a Commonwealth country, if a wall was damaged and it took the government a long time to fix the wall. A car went over, a young man died. The family sued the state and was successful. I laid that out literally.